So this is going to be a card trick dedicated to my boy Jussie Smollett. This is known as the Jussie Smollett card trick. So let's get into the performance. So Jussie Smollett is a black king, and one day he decided to go to Subway at 2 o'clock in the morning in one of the most dangerous cities in the entirety of the United States, as you do in Chicago. So he was minding his own business, thinking of his sweet onion chicken teriyaki, when suddenly Jussie was accosted by two racist, white, cis males. They beat him and they battered him and they told him, hey, you don't belong here. You don't belong among the regular ones. You belong in Africa, MAGA country. Well, after a substantial investigation by the Chicago Police Department, it turns out that these two white privileged males were actually Nigerian. They were actually two buff Nigerian blacks. And turns out that our boy Jussie Smollett paid them to assault him at 2 o'clock in the morning in his subway route. Yeesh, what a mess. And it turns out that they're cooperating fully with the Chicago Police Department. But what about our black king, Jussie? Well, it turns out that he's being indicted for felony counts of disorderly conduct and falsifying police records. So really, he's less of a black king and more of a joker. More of a joker. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the Jussie Smollett card trick is very, very simple. All you need is a little bit of a setup on top of the deck. And what I mean by simple, it means that you need a lot of sleights in order to accomplish this move. So if you're somebody that just happened to have jumped in here because you found the word Jussie Smollett and you've been looking for Jussie Smollett related content, well, you might want to check out the Pigcake Magic Academy. $5 a month gets you 2 videos every single week going over card and coin stuff. You get to learn all the sleights you need in order to execute the Jussie Smollett card trick for $5 a month. Oh boy, 300 videos already, 2 videos published every single week, going over everything you need to know to become the best proprietor of Jussie Smollett related card tricks in your county. So this is a fairly simple card trick in the sense of the setup. All you need is this small setup on top. You need the two jacks, the two redneck jacks, which are going to represent the white cis privileged males. You're going to need, of course, the black king, which is going to represent our black king, which is Jussie Smollett. The next thing you're going to need are the two blackjacks, which are going to represent the two Nigerian immigrants, the two buff Nigerian immigrants that were hired by Jussie Smollett. And lastly, you're going to need a joker, which could go on the bottom of the deck. So here is the actual card trick. Here you go. Now, first things first, you're going to need to get a pinky break, and here it does help if you get a ring break, a ring finger break. So this might be a little bit challenging here, but it's well beyond your well under your understanding as a proprietor of magic tricks. You're going to need a ring finger break underneath the second card from the top of the deck and a pinky break underneath the third card. This is going to be held temporarily as you show the black king and you address the fact that Jussie Smollett is a black king. And you, of course, you talk about the story that he went to Subway at 2 o'clock in the morning in one of the most dangerous cities in the entirety of the United States to get a Subway sandwich, because that's what you do at 2 o'clock in the morning in Chicago while you're dodging the bullets. While you're dodging the bullets, you're just going to Subway at 2 o'clock in the morning in Chirac. Come on, Jussie. So that's going to be placed on top of the deck. And you're going to lift up the card below it, which is going to be fairly easy because of the ring finger break. So you're going to lift up the card below it because of the ring finger break. And here, you're going to do two things at once. You're going to push this card, the next card here. At the same time, you're going to do the Stuart Gordon double lift here. You see that? This is a nice little bit of a move here that allows you to apparently show this card as one. But we're going to be using this as a production move. So you don't necessarily need to do this move and end with the card perfectly squared like me, because again, I have level 69 virginity. What you're going to be doing is doing the double lift and pushing this card to the side. Now notice at the same time I've pushed this card to the right with my thumb, and what's going to happen there is I'm going to turn this card over and use that to turn that card face up on top of the deck. So what it looks like is that now this card is sandwiched by these two privileged white males. That's a nice little bit there, a nice little bit of a production, and allows you to get into this fairly nicely, just like that. Originally, I had a more complicated way of doing this, which actually I'm going to do later on to change these into the two black Nigerians, but I rather do this one first and then do the actual color change second. It's going to make sense in a little bit. So now you can talk about how to, the white males got Jussie Smollet, and they said, dude, you don't belong here, all right? You don't belong here. You are, you know what you are, all right? You can't be here. This is MAGA country. And they put a noose around his neck. You could talk about that. And while you're talking about that, you need to secure a pinky break underneath the second card on top of the deck, which is going to be your two Nigerian princes here. So that's going to be the second part. Now you're going to get into this move known as the Louis Simonoff flippant move. I've talked about this move a lot. It's a fairly challenging move. What's going to happen is you're going to drop your hand. When you drop your hand, these two cards are going to flip in midair. I know it's a little bit challenging. It's definitely going to be challenging. And you're doing that as you're tapping it with this Black King. So it's going to seem like the Black King dropped his essence on those cards and changed it. So you're going to do both of those things at once. You're going to drop the cards. You're going to allow these two to flip. At the same time, you're going to slap this king on top of the deck. So at speed, it just looks like this. You see that? And it looks like both those beautiful white males now turn into two buff, strong black kings, black Nigerians rather, that were hired by Jussie in order to fake an attack on his person. So that's what the move looks like. Again, it's going to be fairly challenging to do. Even in slow motion, you're flipping the cards like that, and you're just doing that. I've taught it many times, all right? I've taught it many times. You should be familiar with it by now if you're watching this channel. But now guess what? You could talk about the fact that they were hired. They were hired by Jussie in order to perpetrate this fake hoax, hate crime, just to promote his career or do whatever it is that Jussie wanted. And you could hand these blackjacks out and say, you could touch them. They're buff, they're strong males. And what you're going to be doing here is you're going to need that misdirection, because you could do two things here. You could do two things to exchange this king for this joker that's on the bottom of the deck. One is the jinx change, which is very, very simple. All I'm doing is getting a pinky break right there above that bottom joker. Right now I'm talking about the king. I could talk about the black Nigerian strong buff men. I'm gonna put this on top, and I'm gonna lift up all the cards above the break as I take this to my pocket, and I say, now that leaves us with just one individual, one thing alone, and that is our boy Jussie. Well, it turns out Jussie wasn't much of a black king. Really, he was just a joker. And that's the nice little punchline, the punchline that he didn't actually receive. You feel me? So that's one way of doing it. And of course, the way you would do that is that you have this on top, you hand these out, you could talk about those, you do the move, and you say, now, of course, that leaves us with our boy Jussie. What's really Jussie? Is Jussie a black king? No, he's a joker. All right, you could do it that way. That's the timing on that depends on your circumstances. Or you could just simply take this king, put it on the bottom of the deck, lift up two cards as one. So when you take these two cards, they're actually the card with the joker underneath. You could flip the deck over, and now you're ready for a double lift. So now you could actually show this king, turn these two cards over as one, put the deck away, and do your little move here. Maybe flex it a little bit, like Jussie flexed on the news, and you could then show that he wasn't in fact a black king, but he was in fact a joker. So that's the Jussie Smollett card trick. It's pretty substantial, I gotta say. It's nothing easy. I don't know why I mentioned that it's an easy trick. There's a lot of complicated sleights. The flippant move is something that you're definitely gonna have to learn, and that's a trick. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you, man. I just hope that I could contribute to the you know, the culture that's going on here with this card trick. I hope that I could contribute and add my piece of the pie with the Jussie Smollett card trick. And I have a plethora of people performing the Jussie Smollett card trick. So thank you guys. Make sure to do all the things that people do when it comes to videos. I'm gonna go figure out how to white knight in a bar. Reduce speed, fat bitches crossing. Chicken bones on the floor, no flossing. Stains on her shirts, no wiping. Smell of sewage got me swiping. Left me out here gagging, with Antonio Banderas flagging. Zorro got my bandana on the right, fabric Louis V, that shit bright. What the fuck is this hype shit? I'm at Target getting wipe shit. Market pantry for life shit. Morona girls are wife shit. Want a bitch that drives a Taurus. Get even harder if that shit's a Yaris. Ben's shoddy got my dick limp. Corolla honey gets my blimp thick.